The agenda for today is to give you a brief introduction on new functionality soon to be released. I will explain some of the changes we have made and present the new features. We will start off by going through some presentation slides and then move over to a system session. My name is Eldin Akupovic, and the topic today is planned operations for production work orders and resource capacity and load overview. This session is going to be recorded for training purposes, and on that note, I will kindly ask you to mute yourself during the presentation. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask them at the end of the webinar. The first topic is planned operations for production work orders. This will replace the existing planned operation list on production work orders. We have updated the design and added some new functionalities. First off, the status overview will be presented with a bit more details compared to before. One of the big changes is that there's a possibility to update planned start date on operations that are not started on. Calculations on time, both log time and total time remaining, will now also include times from both the pre and post processes. The planned operations list is accessible from the same place as before. From the production work order, click on the Inspect Operations button. The presented columns show status and general information for the different operations. If you hover over the values under the columns planned and log time, you will see the defined times for the different steps on that specific operation. As before, you can inspect the work log, and similar to other menus, you can choose to add or remove columns. When highlighting one of the operations, a section on the right will appear. This will present a bit more details. From here you can change the planned start date. There's a small icon on the right of the current date. If you click on that, a pop-up will appear, and from here you can set the new date and time. When adjusting the start date, the system will take into consideration the active settings from CSV on how an operation can be moved. The source section will present you with more details regarding the production work order and as well who the planner is. The section states is the same as before, but you have several parameters that can be set. And external planner states is connected to external planning tools such as Robex. If you click on the defined names, you will get a brief description of what each means. And lastly, planned by day will give you an overview on the different days this operation is currently planned. Moving on to our next topic, which is resource capacity and load overview. This is a visualization tool that gives you an overview of daily load and capacity for resources and resource groups. You have the possibility to filter the overview on different parameters, such as resources, resource groups, and period. We created this application with the intent of replacing the old and outdated Excant capacity view, which is going to be entirely removed. In RamBase, it will be accessible from the menu on the left when it's released, but for now, we'll use this bookmark. Resources and resource groups are displayed on the left and daily load for each resource on the right. As mentioned previously, this is a visualization tool which will only display data and you will not be able to make any adjustments. The resource load is displayed in percentage and the load icons are color-coded, similar to before. Green indicates the load is within set limits, yellow indicates the load is in morning state, and red indicates that there's an overload. And these limits can be defined by each company under the CSV settings. The period is set from today's date and approximately a month ahead. You can simply filter on resources by typing the resource or group name. In addition, if you click on the load icon, you will get a detailed overview with a pie chart and general information regarding that specific resource. And here you can see different types of data, such as total capacity, what is available, what is totally assigned to active orders, and so on. You can of course also choose a different start date, and then it will go as mentioned from that specific date and a month ahead. That was a very brief introduction to the new functionalities. Documentation will be made available on the Knowledge Center pretty shortly. And if you wish to see the recordings from the webinars, they will be available on our YouTube channel, RamBase ERP Learn. Thank you for listening.